Hi, everyone, and welcome to another amazing episode of She Rises, Amplify, and Thrive live speaker series, where we have the most incredible people on here week after week, every week. I'm just so excited about everyone and anyone that comes on. And part of the best part of this series is that it goes towards supporting my nonprofit, She Rises Foundation, where we are literally rising and lifting up women to just step into their leadership, step into their power, however that might look. But we are raising scholarships and funding and startup funds, whatever it is that they're needing to take that class, finish that schooling, get that coaching, to start their own business, whatever it is, so that they can get out there and get their love and light out there in the world. It's amazing, and I'm so grateful for everyone that watches and everyone that donates. So a huge thank you to everyone. And then, of course, a huge thank you to our guests who also provide those donation gifts. So gracious. I mean, every week I'm just blown away by the support. So that is what this platform is a part of. It's also to get the word and the wisdom and the insight out. So welcome everyone to She Rises. And today we have Kirsty Jandrell. Sorry. She is a ceremonial and scent priestess, angel healer, and Akashic Records practitioner who guides others to align with joy, purpose, and authenticity. I love that. She is a free spirit, a mom, a wife, a fairy child, and she lives in the hills of Wales with her family and her pets. And today we're going to be talking about angels, magic, and joy, what the world needs now. Welcome, Kirsty. I'm so happy to have you here. Oh, I can't wait for you to share all of your wisdom that you have with everyone. So exciting. So
Oh,
I'm just gonna fire right in. I have to know, how did this become your purpose and bringing all of this to the world?
oh, thank you, Kelly, and thank you so much, firstly, for inviting me here. It's just an absolute joy to be here with you and to all the beautiful people who are watching. And what a gorgeous work you're doing in the world. I just wanted to say thank you for doing that. It's just amazing and what opportunities you're creating. So I'm so
Thank
grateful to
you.
be here. So thank you. Oh, so yeah, I mean, I guess my story is possibly quite similar to many other light workers who are sort of on the pathway at the moment. It was a gradual pathway. I'd almost led a double life really. I always talk of it that way. I'd always had from quite a very small child, quite a deep spiritual connection, and I was always interested in things beyond the 3D, if you like, beyond the things that we could see and feel and touch and taste. Um, and I guess I stumbled into my first spiritual practice over 25 years ago as a yoga teacher. Um, and I've taught yoga for many, many years. But aside from that, I had a very private, spiritual, solitary practice actually that I always adhered to. I always followed the Celtic wheel of the year and you know the full moon and the new moon cycles and honored those and was very in tune to nature, although a lot of the time I was living in an urban sort of environment as a student and that sort of thing. Um, and yeah, I gradually immersed myself in more and more sort of modalities and started off working as a hypnotherapist actually in the mid 90s and that was always sort of a sideline to my main job. Um, and then I guess about 2010 17, the real sort of changes happened. I was already working within the Akashic field, although we call it the Halls of Ammantai as well now, but basically all of those beautiful records that are accessible to all of us.
Mhm.
I was working in that field, and working with crystals and that sort of thing. Um, and then in 2017, I was blessed to become a geriatric first time mum. That was definitely the phrase that was used. Um, and that was at 46, and that just changed my life. I mean, it just turned my life upside down and really opened me up to the potential that we have inside of us when we really connect with our desires and set those intentions for the highest good. And it took me, myself and my husband, a long time for my beautiful daughter to arrive, but when she did, and I'm sure you can relate because I know you're a mum too. It just gives you
Mhm.
that sense of absolute purpose. Um, and then 2 years, well, 18 months later, um, my mum and stepdad, passed suddenly. They transitioned suddenly, both of them, within sort of half an hour of each other.
Oh,
It's one
wow.
of those sort of jaw-dropping what sort of moments. And they'd both been very active with my daughter and, being involved as grandparents. They were healthy, quote unquote. But to cut a long story short, my stepdad suffered a heart attack, and then as the emergency service has arrived, it became clear that my mum had also suffered a cardiac arrest. So they both went within 30 minutes of each other.
Wow.
Um, and it was of course, a shock, but it really catapulted me into the question of what am I doing with my life? We never know, and why waste time when you know that you're here for some sort
Mhm.
of purpose, to connect with it. And that's when I really, those dual things, sort of wanting to model integrity, alignment for my daughter, and then that sort of absolute realization that, we don't have forever. We need to get on with things now. um, Both of these things just before COVID, of course, that really catapulted me into a deep, deep inquiry about what I should be doing. And I'm very blessed that I've been able to run education recruitment business since 2007. And just after COVID, I basically was so fortunate to be in a position where I could step back and allow my beautiful directors to basically steer the business and look after the day-to-day running, so that I could then fully immerse myself in spiritual work. And that's how it all sort of unfolded, really. So it just felt, yeah, I just had this knowing that the time was now, and yanked onto the path, really. Yeah.
I feel like that's sometimes I feel like I'm going to say a lot of times that's kind of how it happens. We have something
Mm,
that, that happens in our lives. Like what happened to you? With your parents. I'm all clearly they decided that they were going to transition over together.
absolutely.
But I'm like, and I mean, I can't even imagine how, like you said, you used the word shocking, but like I can't imagine like how that must have been. But you know, what I'm hearing is what a beautiful gift because it really they really kind of they gave you that gift to really step into who you truly are and not have to be in that double life anymore.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Yeah.
Kelly, for the reflection. And I absolutely hold that, so tenderly in my heart, because there's so many benefits to the way they went. Firstly, they were soul mates,
Mhm.
twin flames. I think they were, and neither one would have coped very well without the other. And
Yeah.
also from a very sort of selfish point of view, I didn't have to watch them suffer.
Yeah.
and that was such a benefit. And as you say, it just propelled me into this sort of knowing that it was time.
Yeah, I actually I think that is I think that's very beautiful in the way that that happened. And I mean, not I'm sorry for your loss, but it just it's so
No.
incredible because, you know, I feel like in a way they knew that it was time for you and to like stop holding back because,
Yeah.
you know, look at the beautiful work that you're doing now for everyone. So, um, I just I just think it's really inspiring, actually, your
Oh.
story. Yeah. So, okay, so I would love to dive into more about how you work with the angelic realm and really like how that's impacted your life and how you use it working with others.
Thank you. Yeah, so the angelic realm is, I mean, I'm sure you'll have, lovely listeners and audience that will have some connection, because there are so many of them here now. I mean, they're here. I truly believe they're here, just waiting to help us. Um, and I think again, it was my daughter plays a key role in a lot of my spiritual awakening. The first conscious connection I had came prior to her birth, actually, and I always tell this story, so forgive me if you've heard this one before, anyone, but I was undergoing some fertility treatment, and it had been a long journey. We know we'd waited sort of almost 10 years for her. Um, and it was very, as anyone knows, if they've been through that journey, it can be hard, it can be lonely, and it can be, you can have moments of real sort of desperation. Anyway, I was undergoing this fertility treatment the one day, and I always used to sort of take myself into this lovely space of meditative sort of, take yourself away from the situation, put myself in this lovely peaceful meditation. And this day it's so difficult to describe with language, but I just felt this overwhelming sense of love and this overwhelming, almost gnosis inside of me that I would become a mom. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, but it was just this reassuring knowing that it was going to happen. And I saw in my mind's eye, I saw these beautiful colors. It was sort of like peachy, orange, goldy colors. And the whole thing was just absolutely gorgeous. Um, anyway, a couple of years later, I finally went through a successful pregnancy. And throughout the start of my pregnancy, I just had this name, Gabriel, coming to me. Um, And I thought, right, well, it's definitely a boy, and I have to call him Gabriel. Okay, thank you, Spirit. Um, anyway, went for the scan. My scan, I think it's like 12 weeks or 16 weeks, and Gabriel turned out to be a girl. So I hadn't got any girls' names. So, but of course, Gabriel was not to be. Um, Flash forward to after she was born, my daughter was born. She wasn't called Gabriel, but that still that name was with me. And it was a friend of mine who was connected with the angels, and she gave me some information about Archangel Gabriel. And one of his many, many jobs, as you probably know, is to care for pregnant women, unborn children, and sensitive children. And that to me, it just blew me away. And I just absolutely knew that he had been key in bringing her through and protecting us during the pregnancy. So that to me was my first, whoa, angels absolutely exist, and they help us and they're here to help us. Um, and from then on, I just kept getting signs all the time that they were there. And then came across a course basically to which is run on by the beautiful Callista, an angel healing course. I took that and it just changed my life completely. And then I went on to study as a practitioner and then finally became a teacher. So I now teach others how to provide angel healing to others and spread that light. So it's just such a gift. But again, it wasn't a subtle, it wasn't a subtle sort of, hey, I think you should be working with angels. It was like, right, Gabriel, I'm here. Um, and it's just, Kelly, it's so gorgeous to see now so many people stepping in and having these beautiful experiences, direct experiences with angels, and then that impacting them to such a degree that they want to work with that, with those beautiful beings and to spread the light. So yeah, it's just an ongoing source of joy for me, really. I'm just
Oh,
grateful.
oh my gosh, I love it. I'm like, you've had such an inspiring journey. Like how, like that's so beautiful. And we do, like the angels are near us all the time, helping and supporting and I can say that because I've experienced it in my own life with
Yeah,
with
yeah.
with really major things and really small, like I say small things, but it's just all just these incredible
Mm.
experiences. And how beautiful is that that now you teach that and oh, I think that's beautiful.
Mm.
Can you we do you mind just kind of explaining like what like when people work with you and you're working with the angels or even when you're teaching it, what does that look like? What is that experience that
Mm.
you get to share with them and they get to share with you?
Yeah, so within the angel healing modality, which was created by Callista, my teacher, it's quite unique because we work with 34 archangels, 17 of whom are female archangels, or also known as the Archaea. And if you think about it, I mean, we all have within us, don't we, the divine masculine and the sacred feminine energies. And if you think about an angel, they have the same. So we have the masculine energy of an angel and the feminine angel energy, and they're sort of divine counterparts. So when we're working with them, um, firstly, what happens is the people who are going to become healers, we go to what's known as the attunement room. So they actually merge with the energies, and it's a space within the heavenly realms where they're actually attuned to each pair of these gorgeous archangels. And through that process, then they're able to literally channel the energies through so that they can provide hands-on healing. Almost, I guess I'm not familiar with I'm not a Reiki qualified practitioner, but that sort of
Hmm.
similar process, but rather than pulling through the universal source energy, you're actually working with the specific angels or archaea. Um, and then it's a case of really sort of trusting and like with many spiritual practices, trusting that the right archangels will step forward to provide the healing. And it can be healing on emotional, physical, spiritual, mental matters, whatever it is, the angels will know what to sort of bring through. And it's beautiful because it can be done in person, but it can also be done remotely as well, which is no less potent. So it's a real gift. But every session is different, and every session is just absolutely beautiful. It's a gorgeous way to work with them. We also work with them through, and I haven't got the cards here, but I'll send you the link to them. Beautiful female archangels cards, which Callista also created, and we use those within healing as well to provide messages. And quite often, when you're bringing through the healing, you will get messages intuitively from certain angels want to give their love and their light and their inspiration to the person that's sort of having the healing. So we use those cards as well, in an oracular way and in a healing way too.
Beautiful.
So yeah.
Yeah, that is really beautiful.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I
Yeah,
love that.
it's a gift. It is a gift. It's lovely that
Yeah.
Callista's brought this through because I think, certainly I was not aware really of the female counterparts, and when you think about it in logical terms, it's absolutely natural
Mhm.
that there should be the two elements, and that provides the whole. So yeah.
Yeah, it definitely I just I'm like as you were saying that I just heard it's like it's the completeness of it of and like of all cycles that that we move through whether energetically or just in life.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
that's amazing. Oh,
Yeah. Oh.
I love it. So um I'm all in with angels comes joy, right? So
Yes.
yes, yes. So let's talk about that because as you were saying that, I like every time when I think about angels, I just think about like my heart just warms, and then I'm like, oh, and
Mm.
then I'm like, oh, they're just so joyful.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's so important for us to have that in our life, and especially during this time because there's
Mm.
just so much strife that's happening and I and just in general conversation like I've talked to people and they're like I just want to be happy. I just want to find that joy again. And you know we do and joy is a frequency that that we do have open to all of us, but you know um I guess I want to know what your opinion is on the frequency of joy and as we are, as we move through this process and we're ascending, you know, I'm just curious of what
Yeah.
like, why is it like why do you believe it's important?
Oh, well, how long have you got? Have we got a little bit of time here?
We've got some time.
Thank you for asking that question. Um, I think firstly, I just want to acknowledge the fact that yes, we are, and we're of course going through this ascension process, which is full of challenges, full of initiations, personally and globally. And I'm sure we all feel in our hearts that, we are moving to this beautiful new earth. But of course, whilst we do so, the things that are not serving the highest good are alchemizing and sometimes just falling away. So, and I think the potential, I mean, I'm very happy to say haven't watched the mainstream media now for about 15 years, and I don't think I could. I think I would be so I would be
Mhm.
so sort of shocked to watch it. But I can imagine that when, these distractions of, and let's be honest, there are some horrific circumstances happening in the world. We can't deny that. But I really believe that we can be aware of them and send our love, send our compassion, send our healing, because intention is everything. And we can be in our joy. A joy being one of I believe joy is our birthright.
I love that.
Um, and if you think of a baby that comes in, they are literally they're sort of called bundles of joy, aren't they?
Right.
For no coincidental reason, they have that frequency of naturally vibrating at that high
Mhm.
frequency, and that's why I believe it's our sort of birthright, and it's also a work in progress. I mean, joy, love, peace, compassion, all of these higher frequencies, um, I believe are accessible to all of us, but we have to work at it, because there's so many, let's be honest, every one of us is moving through initiations of some sort. But when we are in that frequency, the more we can reach for that frequency and the more we can be in that. whether it be whether we're playing with our kids, whether we're playing music, whether we're dancing, whether we're cooking, whether we're in nature, whatever it is that puts us in that state. I believe that that state is so powerful that when we're able to hold that frequency, we're not only uplifting ourselves and becoming a light for our immediate family, but that frequency is so powerful that it spreads out into the world, and we can make a positive difference just by holding that frequency. And I think a lot of people look at that and think, gosh, well, it's quite frivolous. How can you hold that frequency when so many people are suffering? But we know that to lower our frequency is not going to help those people,
Right.
you know. But it's when we can start to see them in their highest iteration of their circumstances, and send that intention, and to see them as as happy, healthy, and whole, that's when we start to make a difference. And I always mention my teacher, one of my teachers, Tim Wilde. Um, he always talks about the fact that when we hold these high frequencies, we can actually impact people within a 20-mile radius of us.
I've heard
So
that.
just imagine if everybody held that frequency of joy.
Mhm.
There'd be no conflict, there'd be no division, there'd be no separation, because people wouldn't feel um, lack. So therefore there would not be, and there would be that sort of feeling of unity, because we know we're all one. We know we're all one. Um, but to have that, to be able to hold that and to spread that out into the world, even if, you've got one person in every town who's able to hold that, what a different world. And I just find that immensely, immensely exciting,
Mhm.
because the more of us that can spread that frequency, the better the world is going to be, and the quicker.
Yes.
So that's my take on it. I mean, I could bore you for hours really on how I feel about joy, but that's the nutshell. Does that make sense, Kelly, to you?
Absolutely,
Mm.
because that's I like joy. I think joy, we like I said, we all go through difficult times,
Mm.
but I think that joy is one of the most important components when it comes to healing,
Yeah,
because we have to be able to because like you said, joy is our birthright. So it is literally intertwined into who we are and the frequency of who we are. And to heal, we heal from within. So when we can connect with that frequency of joy, whatever that may be, like you said, when you're holding that little bundle of joy in your arms, I'll say for me, my dogs bring me so much joy.
yes, yes.
It's just, even like even when I'm having, let's say, a really rough day of whatever that is, the moment that I connect with that frequency of joy, it may not catapult me up to like having the greatest day ever, but I always recognize the difference in the vibration of how I feel, because joy is healing. Like joy is so much. There's so much. I'm all on that frequency when
So
we
true.
connect.
Mm.
And very much to what you were saying, like I agree with you. Like how incredible would that be just to have one person in every city, town, whatever it is, who's going around spreading joy. If I spread joy to you, I guarantee that you're going to be joyous. It may not be loud, but you're
Exactly.
going to be joyous. And I think
Yeah.
that's part of that ripple effect of how powerful just connecting with that frequency can heal you, everyone around you, the world, and I think it's beautiful. And yes, and part of what you do as a light worker is, you help radiate that frequency out to heal. So again, I just want to highlight the work that you do. I mean, just now on this call, like even when we connected before we started, like you radiate a lot of joy. So I could feel it in my I honestly can feel it in my soul. So I can only imagine, kind of like the pay it forward thing. Do you know what I
Thank you.
mean? So,
I do. And
yeah.
I just wanted to say also, you were talking about the ripple effect, and it can be something so simple. I mean, smiling at somebody in the supermarket, how that could change their day. And then they go and smile at somebody else and da da da. And it's truly contagious. It really is. And it doesn't have to be such a big effort, it can be such a simple little thing.
Mhm.
And as you say, when I absolutely agree with you that when we have all the medicine we need within our bodies, within our fields to be completely whole and healthy and happy, and when it is frequency, isn't it? When our cells are healthy, they're
Mhm.
vibrating at a certain frequency, and there's no potential for them to be harmed. And if you think about when your immune system is low, it's been I mean I haven't got the stats with me, but we all know that stress
Mhm.
causes low immune systems, which causes disease. So if we can be the opposite of that, that's where the healing comes, isn't it? And this is the potency of it. It's just beautiful. So thank you for making that connection.
Yeah, well, and I agree with you. Like vibration, I mean, vibration is everything, right?
Yeah.
So, and kind of sticking on this with joy, I mean, let's face it, just being human in itself, we have a lot of demands on us all the time, constantly. We have, I mean, just to name a few, like I can use my life, demand as being a mom, a demand of being like a business owner, demand of having to, upkeep a house, like, and it's just, you're right, there is a lot of stress. And so, I believe that vibration is everything and very important. What is your take or your opinion on that?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And everything vibrates, doesn't it? Whether it's
Mhm.
something that's solid, like this, that beautiful chair behind you, it's still vibrating at a certain frequency, as are all the cells and molecules in your body. Um, and I think the beautiful thing about us being able to tend to our vibration is, and this links in with our potential to really step into our sovereignty and to co-create our realities and the new earth, because we can control essentially those vibrations through our intention.
Mhm.
And a lot of, I mean, it's sort of basic law of attraction, sort of 101, isn't it, really? But that sort of it's a universal spiritual law that what we focus on amplifies.
Mhm.
So I think it's very much a case of being aware of our thoughts and catching them. And when we have thoughts that are not particularly beneficial to us, not beating ourselves up, but just thinking, well, oh, okay, um, let's let's discard that one. Let's reach for a better one, because we're not our thoughts. I mean, they pass through our mind, so we get to choose them. And the more we can choose thoughts that make us feel better,
Mhm.
the easier our vibration rises to become a constant. And I'm not sort of talking about being a sort of a spiritual bypasser or a
Right.
Pollyanna who doesn't, we have, as you say, we have stresses, we have initiations, and we must honor those. But the more we can focus on those feelings and those thoughts that make us feel better, our frequency then becomes higher, because it becomes a habit, if that makes sense. So, and I
Mhm.
think the potential of that is so exciting. And this is why when we step outside of, some of the narratives that we're being given, that
Mhm.
naturally make us sad and stressed, and that's when we step into that real potency of being sovereign beings because we get to choose how we feel
Yeah.
essentially. And I think that's the key to it, that intention and that we get to choose.
Yes. Oh, I agree with that. I believe that choice is everything. And I always think, how lucky are we that we truly get to have that that a freedom of choice and to and it and I mean it really does come down to that. If you're having a bad day, you can choose to continue to have a bad day, or you can choose I mean you can choose something better. I'm all
Yeah.
for me, it's hugging my dogs. So but but it's true. Like I could sit, you can kind of sit in that low dense energy, and that's okay too if that's what you're
Yeah.
needing to do. Or like I said, mine is I instantly grab my dogs, and I can feel my vibration raise. It may not be as high as I want it, but at least it's not where it was at. And of course that's my choice, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I
I
think
love that.
choice is so powerful. So I'm so glad that you talked about that, because
Oh,
I'm like, I really like to emphasize that with people, that it is always a choice. Like you really do have a choice
yeah, you really
of
do.
how you want to be and how you want to vibrate and how you want to show up in the world. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, Kelly, it's not to say, is it, that sometimes it's reaching for those better feelings. It's not the easiest choice
mhm.
to make. So I just want to honor that as well because it's definitely a work in progress and we all have days when we don't feel so great. And that's, as you say, that's okay too. Um, And quite often we can't choose the circumstances in which we find ourselves, but we can always choose how we react to them and how we process them. And that's where our freedom lies, I feel. We always have that choice. So yeah,
Yes.
ultimate freedom, really.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that. So, okay, so I love it because you have a platform too that he shares, I know that shares your wisdom and your insight and messaging to the whole world. So you have a podcast that's called the Angels, Magic, and Joy podcast. I would love to know how you came up with it, how you created it, and like what's it doing now?
Thank you. Well, I can't take full credit by any means for it, but it's definitely an entity in and of itself. It's got its own energy, and it's another one of my greatest sources of joy, like the work that you do. I mean, it came about. I have a beautiful co-host whose name I must mention, who's is Kate Rajba, and we co-host it together. And it actually was birthed in angel teacher training, in Callista's teacher training. And our teacher, Callista, we were all chatting, and she said, "Oh, it would be lovely if we could have some way to spread the magic, the light of the angels, like an angel radio or something like that. Wouldn't it be great?" And she said, "Who would be interested?" So Kate and I sort of put our hands up at the front of the class. Um, and anyway, Callista's so busy, and the initial intention was that we all did it together, but because she's
Mhm.
so busy creating, she couldn't sort of carry on with it. So Kate and I just sort of dreamt it up basically, and the name came to us. We went into the Akashic realm and we were given this name. We were like, actually, that's kind of got a ring to it. So yeah, we have all these beautiful guests who basically spread their magic, their joy, and we have all sorts of spiritual from different spiritual fields coming to just share the inspiration however they can, and very much like what you're doing here, really. And it's just such a joy to be able to allow different pieces of wisdom to be shared and different lights to be, it's just an honor. It's a real honor. And yeah, we love to do it. So again, we have to blame the angels for that one as well.
Oh, but but the truth is nothing happens by accident.
No.
So, I mean, you both were of choice again,
Yes.
chosen to be able to do
Yeah.
this, and given the choice as to whether or not you really want to step into it, and you have. And I always think it's wonderful when people have platforms to just support. I mean, we have to support one another. That's what
We
we have to, like, we
do.
really do.
Well, I'd
Um,
love you to come on, Kelly, at some point if you would
oh.
be our
I
guest.
would
That would
love
be
to. Thank
wonderful.
you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the invitation.
Oh,
I would love to. Oh,
oh, thank you.
thank you. Oh,
But
yes, it would be such an honor. But you have to share with everybody on what platforms can they find your podcast?
yeah, so currently we're on YouTube, so we have a YouTube channel and we're on Spotify as well. So yeah, I will send you the links. But it's gorgeous how and this is the beauty I think of the situation we're in now, post the pandemic, all of these beautiful, I've met so many beautiful souls through this work, virtually and then in person. And then that these people introduce you to other people, and we just, I feel like we're all gathering in this gorgeous net of light across the world. And I think that when we look sort of to pre-pandemic times, that wasn't possible. Certainly for me, I was a I had my own spiritual practice, but I didn't really know anyone else that did, and did it at the weekends, and then went back to the office, on a Monday morning.
Mhm.
And now that we've just got this beautiful way of connecting through people like yourself, and it's just the potency of that when we're in unity, and
Mhm.
we're working towards this common goal of co-creating this beautiful new earth. I think it's just beautiful. So yeah, I just get blown away by it, really.
You know what? I agree. Just like you, pre-pandemic, I was working a really intensive job, and like you on the side, I was spiritual, and I kind of had this thing going on in my own home, but
Yes.
you know, and people are probably gonna have something to say about this, but like in a way, I do feel like, going through the pandemic, there was a lot of things that really were for us. And
Yes.
exactly what you said, like we then have created these platforms to connect with people. Like, I mean, I'm across the other side of the world from you, and here we are connecting and just spreading the love, the light, and the joy, and I feel at the same time we're giving, like, we're opening the eye. I'm awakening the eyes is what I was just told. I was tapped on the shoulder and they're like, no, no, you're awakening. Like, we're awakening this. We really are helping people awaken to what is so possible out there, and it's so infinite. It's
It really is, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
gorgeous, and thank you for highlighting that. And you know, I I feel also exactly the same as you, that it's a blessing, and it's an honor. And if just one, by sort of being able to show up authentically, I always think if that just gives one other person the impetus and the calling to be able to show up, if they're perhaps in a little bit of reticence or a little bit of fear around really owning who they are and being authentic, I think then we've done our job, haven't we? And it's if everyone across the world gave everybody else, one other person, that sort of inspiration, or that sort of allowing them to unlock, because everybody has these gifts and these talents, and everybody's light is so needed. So, yeah, it's just an honor, isn't it, to be able to just even impact one person. That's job is done.
right. Just so as like for them to be seen.
Exactly.
And what I mean by being seen is being seen for who they are, what's inside, not, and I think that's such a beautiful gift when when someone's like, "Oh my gosh, you see me," and you're like, "Oh, I do." Do you know what I mean? Like, what a beautiful gift. Like, I think it's very reciprocal when you see someone and they recognize that, like
Yeah,
it's
it's everything, isn't it? Because
yeah.
if we look at it sort of, in terms of our socialization, going past back thousands of years, we've been brought up to have these masks, and to play these roles and da da da, but to actually be seen as you, as the beautiful soul that you are. I mean, that is just, yeah, as you say, such a gift. And whether that is virtually or whether that's in person, it almost doesn't matter. It's just that being held and being seen and being um held in wholeness, and it's we talk about joy, and that's so important, but of course we've all got to do the shadow work as well, and we've got to bring up all those things that we perhaps don't want to look at, but to be able to embrace those all in wholeness, and to be able to see that in another and have that acceptance and that love is just, is just worth so much, I think. So yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love it. So thank you for what you do and thank you for your platform so that, I feel like that's part of what you do is you just support people in being seen. So thank you for doing that. As you
Mm.
can see, it's really important for me that people are really seen for who they are
Yeah.
and not for all these other things that as we move through life get attached to us, that
Yeah.
like you said, the shadow work of having to get of having to shed.
Yes, the
you
layers of
know
the onion. Oh my
yeah.
goodness, yeah.
So beautiful. I love it. So I
Mm.
do want to open up to the audience. Do any of you guys have any of you ladies, I'm sorry, have any questions or comments? You can come off mute and share it, or if you want to put it in the chat, I'm more than happy to share it. But I did want to also give you guys an opportunity to share if you had anything that you'd like to share. I'm gonna guess that they're soaking in the joy that we're
They're,
spreading
they're all
right
shy
now.
today. They're shy today. That's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, so wonderful. So, Kirsty, you so graciously provided a donation gift, and it's an angel abundance meditation. Would you like to share with everybody what they will get when they donate?
Yeah, so it's basically a channeled meditation that came through part of the work that I do. I also hold, I meant to say actually, I also hold in-person events as well locally, which is great to do. And as part of that, I work with the angels, and often bring through these, or they bring through me these sort of activations. And the angel abundance activation is actually with Archaea Patience and Sandalphon, and they literally are bringing through. It's interesting because I never know. I always know that it's channeled because it's a language that I wouldn't use myself. So it's sort of, yeah. So it's, again, it's frequency. So when you're listening to it, don't worry about the specific words, because you will be receiving them on a cellular level, and it's literally to unlock that capacity to receive abundance on all levels, on the level of um, love, financial abundance, abundance in joy, abundance in friendship, whatever you're wanting to call in, that's what will be unlocked. And it's quite nice to set an intention before you listen to it as well, because that as we say, intention is everything. So if you've got a particular aim for your abundance codes to be unlocked, then just pop that in into your awareness and let the angels work their magic. And I hope you enjoy it. So thank you for letting me share that. And thank you, Angel, for
Yeah.
bringing it through.
Oh, thank you. So, everyone that is, on the call or that will be catching and watching the replay, if you, if you love Kirsty as much as I like as much as I love you, and your energy is just, it's just so beautiful. She has the angel abundance meditation for you. And again, every donation, 100% of those proceeds go to the nonprofit to just really just support women really stepping into their feminine rising. That's what we're here for right now. To really step into that and to embrace it. And what better way than through your angel meditation? So be sure to check it out. Be sure to get it. And Kirsty, thank you so much for just being here, just sharing you with everyone. It's been such a pleasure to have you. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, and thank you for that beautiful work that you're doing in the world. And yeah, it's just such a selfless way to share. And yeah, you're making such a difference. So thank you, and thank you everybody for watching, whoever's tuning in. And yeah, wishing you lots and lots of love and deep gratitude. And let's get you on the Angels Magic and Joy podcast, Kelly, please.
Oh my gosh, I would love to do that so much. Thank you so
Hmm,
much for that invite.
lovely.
I'm like, you have no idea how much that means to me. So I would love to be your guest. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today as well, my love.
Yes, and thank you to everybody who joined and everybody who will be watching the replay later. Your support means so much to me. I know it means so much to our speakers and our guests that come on here. So thank you to everyone. I always have so much gratitude for, thank you, Kirsty, for coming on. Thank you, our guests. Thank you, everybody who watches later. So much gratitude just for the support and upliftment that I have received in having this live series. So until next time, everyone. We will be back again next Friday, same time. So much love from my heart to all of yours. And we'll see you all next time. Thank you, everyone.